it's just really important to buy that stuff and use it to keep your suit maintained, as well as just to help you generally as a fursuiter.
And if you find that I can buy 2 or 3, mostly because if you're at a convention and you've been, out performing and you've gotten one all soaked, you want to go back out half an hour again when your suit is dry. It's nice to have a dry one to get into. There's nothing quite as nasty as getting into wet body armor.
Yeah, I have like 2 or 3 pairs myself, so it really helps.
You should talk about brushing.
And I'm going to talk about the brushing and then the packing thing, because that's one little trick that I do. Let's see. See, I wish I had a better brush. Most of you guys have gone and buy brushes. I hope you have a brush for your suit. You go to a pet store, PetSmart or something like that. It's in the States, right? I can't remember. I've been living in Canada too long. When you're brushing the suit, most of you know it has, usually it's not like this one, but it's a triangular head and stuff. Well, when you're brushing a suit, I can't stress this enough because people don't do it right. When you have the suit, you don't just brush it where, I wish I had the right brush for this too. I'm trying to think how to explain this with this one. Okay. If you imagine this is the triangular head, most people would just take the triangular head of the brush like you would do with a dog and just brush like this against the fur. The reason why I don't like that, and I'm telling you, stressing you enough, that's not the right way to brush, is because when you're doing that and you hear this whole, that kind of sound, like that's you pulling the fur. And eventually you're going to start pulling the fur out of your head or out of your body. It's not like it's going to kill it, it's not like your suit won't last really long, but it's just over time it's going to really start destroying the suit. So the best way to do it is that you take the brush, turn it upside down, and hold it like this, where the head is actually at the bottom and the handle's on the top. You take it, and then you start brushing down like this, with the actual direction that the fur is going. If you do that, it's not going to make that harsh sound, but it's also going to brush very lightly. It will get all the knots out, but it's not going to pull the fur. You're not going to get that nice pulling. And for that reason alone, like I don't have lace with me. My other suit, I've had that bodysuit for 4.5 years, and I still haven't replaced it yet. It doesn't have, the fur hasn't been pulled out, and the seams have been ripped out merely because I just know how to brush correctly. So if there's no real trick, just hold the end where the head's like this, hold it like this, go where that direction of the fur is, and just brush like that. Very, very simple. And that will pretty much make your body, your head, or any part of the thing that you're brushing last, I would probably say 3 or 4 years more. It could really make a difference in the long run.
Do you mean those brushes that have the angled bristles in them?
He does.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish I had one. I don't have it with me right now, but yeah, it's those. Yeah, so I said if you just imagine this is the angular one, just imagine this is the head part of it, and just instead of holding it like this, just hold it like this.
As far as those kind of brushes, the best ones to get have plastic bristles instead of metal. And they have little knobs at the end.
Yeah.
They're usually to make your animal more comfortable, so he doesn't have like nasty spiky things going over his skin. But it ends up being a lot less abrasive to the suit. As far as, there are 2 things. One is as far as fur direction is concerned, with most animals and with most fursuits, the fur pretty much starts at the nose, flows upwards, and then down, and then out, going to the extremities, so up to the tips of the ears, out to the tips of the fingers. Try to brush in that direction. So try and figure out what direction the fur is supposed to land, and if you brush with it, it will make the fur not only look good, but it will last better, as I said. The other thing is, as far as the longevity of a suit, realistically speaking, a suit can last between 5 to 10 years, if not longer. If well maintained, the suit, like I've seen a couple suits that are pushing 20.
Yeah, Jimmy's suit, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one's been around for, 11 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think he's ever changed the body yet, so.
Technically speaking, these things, I mean, with the exception of elastic, rubber, and foam, none of the materials are going to degrade over time. I mean, they can last a long time. It's relatively minimal repairs.
Yeah. So brushing, like I said, is pretty straightforward. That's just all you have to remember. Just simply going in the direction of the fur and using, like you said, a little bit non-abrasive type of a thing. With packing, this is a trick that I usually do with a fursuit, and it's just a little trick. If you have an action packer or a bag like this, if you want your suit to probably, I say, smell as well as maybe emanate a type of like you just took it out of like bounce sheets and stuff like that for a long period of time, there's actually a trick to do that. Even if you sweat, you'll actually emanate good smells rather than bad ones because of the amount of fur that's the stuff that I actually put into the suit. What you do is you take every piece of that you have, the body, the head, lay it out somewhere, take a can or something like this, Febreze, something. I like something that has like a smell, like maybe like a fruit or something that has, like you said, like crisp linen. Spray everything inside and out. And once you do that, start putting into the bag and get these things. You guys will know what this is, right? Bounce sheets. All you got to do is, like I said, spray all the suit, take 3 or 4 of these, lay them out in layers in the bag. After you spray the suit, put it in here and zip it up. It's very simple. What it will do is that with the bounce sheets, just like clothes, sometimes people do that when they're traveling, they're putting in their suitcase. If you just put a couple bounce sheets in there and you spray this down and you put it in like right away, what it's going to do is that it's fabric, it's fur, it's just like clothes. It's going to absorb the actual odors that are coming from the bounce sheets and from this. So if you do that, leave it in there for at least an hour or so, I would say, 45 minutes to an hour, and then you take your suit out and you're wearing it, the whole time you're there, you're going to smell like one big thing of like fresh linens that just came out of the dryer or something like that. It smells really nice, and also because you've been letting it, I guess, I don't know what the right word is, stay in the bag for quite a while, even if you're sweating and even if you take it off a couple times, it's still going to smell good, and you're not going to have to try really hard to get any type of foul-smelling odors from sweat and stuff like that unless you have a real problem. It's just a quick little trick that I do, and for something as simple and that's highly effective over time.
So one more thing, and that's us. If we smell bad, we're going to make our suit smell bad. So one of the things is after you've been out in suit and you've run up and down and you're covered in perspiration, have a shower. It's better for socializing. I mean, even if you, you've been in suit and you're supposed to get out of suit because you've got to go to a dinner or, you're meeting some friends for drinks or something like that, try and take the time for at least a quick shower, especially before the next time you get into suit. If you smell good and if you're as fresh as you can be, odds are that you'll be able to be in the suit longer with a minimal amount of effect or a minimal amount of impact from whatever perspiration you might have while you're performing.
Yeah, it's just simple little tricks. I mean, there's no real magic to it. Just doing something simple, like I said, that before you go to a con and when you're traveling, just putting a couple bounce sheets and just spraying it down before you get in there, and just doing this little stuff like that just will make loads of difference in the long run.
There was one more thing I was going to talk about, at least as far as this basic maintenance, and that's if you're storing your suit in a closet, or basically if you're going to store your suit, don't leave it crumpled. I've seen people who literally stuff them into pickle barrels and all kinds of other things. This is a bad idea. The best thing is to try to leave it hanging on a coat hanger so that the entire length is stretched out, hung from its own weight. If you're going to leave it for a long period of time, you can actually get garment bags, which are just basically a big plastic sleeve that goes over the suit. That's a good idea. The other thing is, again, if you're going to leave it for a long period of time, turn it inside out. I find that a lot of people who have done this for a long time, that are storing their suits for, they're only going to use a particular suit a few times a year, will keep it in the closet, inside out, cover it in a garment bag, they pull it out. The fur is immaculate. It looks exactly the same as when it went in. The two reasons: one is that fur can pick up a kink if it's left bent long enough. And those kinks can be very difficult to get out. I mean, they will go out eventually, but it can take weeks before the kink will actually unbend out of the fur. In the meantime, you've got this weird crease. The other thing is, of course, if it's in a closet, try and store it in a closet that is clean, it's dry, and again, it smells good. I've known people, and this is one of the terrible things, I've known people who've kept their suits in an area where there's a smoker. One of the things that gets into fur better and faster than anything else is cigarette smoke. And it's terrible. It can't be removed. Oddly, there are the other kinds of smoke, for example, smoke from a kitchen or incense or whatever else doesn't seem to penetrate and last. But cigarette smoke, I guess because of something in the nicotine or something in the tobacco, if it penetrates into fur, it will never get out. You will always smell slightly like